Last year, 2023, my Forex fund went out of the game. 2024, this is just still the start of the year, and we already have about 3 or 4 different Profims which have just been terminated. First this year was True Forex Fund. They had their Meta Quote license suspended. After that, we thought that was enough. Funded Engineer also got their whole Profim or their Profim tech suspended by FXPX, which was providing the tech for them. And what the heck is happening in the Forex industry? Why are Profims getting banned here and there? What is the future of Forex Profims? Is it a good time for you to buy a Profim? Is this just a good time for you to stay away? What the heck is actually happening in the Profim space? And on this video, I'm going to be covering everything you need to know, how you need to better position yourself to still win in the Forex space in 2024, particularly in the Profim space, irrespective of all the noise which is going on. So let's start with what happened with my Forex fund last year. So what happened with my Forex fund in 2023 was easy. They had what they call vertical integration, meaning all the tech they were using was in-house. Their brokerage, their solutions, their prop solutions, tech solutions, everything was in-house, meaning they could manipulate your trade, they could cause you to lose your accounts even without you knowing. That was why they got investigated and they got suspended. This year, the same similar thing happened to True Forex Fund, because when you go to MetaTrader 5 and you have a Profim account from True Forex Fund, I think the name of the broker they were using was True Proprietary Funds, which just stands for True Forex Fund. So they were still using their own in-house solution, including their own in-house brokerage. So that's why they also got suspended by MetaTrader 5. Then coming to Funded Engineer, what happened to Funded Engineer? Funded Engineer got terminated, or they had an agreement with the company, because you need to understand how a Profim works, right? What most people see is just the front end, but there's a whole back end which is having a whole team of web developers, cyber security, financial processors, banks, and all of that. That makes sure you see what you see on the front end. So their own tech they were using on the back end was with FPFX. I remember when we were trying to come up with the Lionheart funding program, we had a couple of meetings. We were trying to look for the best tech company or the best back-end tech company we can use. And I remember we had a couple of Zoom sessions with FPFX, and they are behind a couple of companies, even the funded trader, the tech behind them is still FPFX. So I know most of these people because I've spoken with most of these tech companies. I think FXify, the tech behind the Profim is also FPFX. So I don't know what happened, but probably what from all the research I've made, maybe they were Funded Engineer was trying to breach the agreement they had with FPFX, because when you have an agreement with your back-end tech, you agree on a position or a percentage of commission which is going to be shared, or a percentage on the revenue which is going to be shared. Depending on the prop tech solution, there are different prop techs with different agreements. So I guess maybe they were trying to get their own in-house prop tech solution so that they don't need to be giving part of their profits to FPFX. So FPFX was like, no, this was not what we agreed. I'm going to kick you out. And that was it. And Funded Engineer got banned as well. I know most of these Profims will be trying as much as possible to come back to the game, but that was just what happened. Then we've gotten almost about 10 other Profims which have also just vanished, just for what we call fly-by-night Profim. They just come the next day, they just gone. So those ones were strictly just scammers. They were not banned because of regulation, or they were not banned because of their prop tech. They just come, got money from people, and then they do a rock pool. You know, rock pool is like crypto rock pool. You get the money and then you just vanish. So now let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to all these Profims. Let's start with the good. The good thing, let's focus. I always like to focus on the good thing in the industry. The good thing which is happening is the regulation. It's both a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing for Profims that are out there for your benefit, and it's a bad thing for Profims that are out there to scam you. All right. So it's a good thing in the sense that if you're a Profim and you someone running a Profim, you should already know of how to run a business, which is an international business. You should already know of licensing. You should already know of jurisdictions. You should already know of regulations. So Lionheart funding program, we are already grounded in all these aspects, meaning we have our license, we have our regulations, we know jurisdiction, regulations we are operating in. All right, so regulations is going to be both a good and a bad thing. Good thing for pro firms that are out there for your benefit, like Lionheart funding program, and a bad thing for pro firms that are just out there to get your money from faith challenges and then vanish overnight, because they are going to be taken out of the game. So that's why I'm putting regulations as both good and bad. But I'm more into the good aspect of it, because yes, this regulation is going to just naturally take out a lot of scammers that are coming to the space to ruin the industry. And then another good thing with all this noise that is going around and pro firms popping here and there, another good thing is just diversification. All right, so diversification is divided into two. We have diversification of asset and we have diversification in terms of pro firms. So what do we mean by diversification of asset? Remember, with the advent of many pro firms, most of these pro firms, pro firm number one will offer assets that pro firm number two doesn't offer. So you having a basket of different pro firms you can trade with, that's already giving you the opportunity to have a diversification in terms of assets you can trade. There are some pro firms that offer synthetic indices, some don't offer. There are some pro firms that offer crypto, some don't offer. There are some pro firms that offer indices, some don't offer. So the advantage for you as a trader is now you have diversification. You have a basket of pro firms which you can trade with many at the same time. So that was diversification in terms of assets. Let's go to diversification in terms of pro firms. This one is self-explanatory. Since pro firms are popping here and there, you have now a basket of hundreds of pro firms or a basket of many good pro firms. Trust me, you need to be able to, and I'm going to train you guys how you can be able to spot a good pro firm, right? Besides Lionheart funding program, I know some of you guys want to trade with 5 million, want to trade with 10 million. So obviously you want to use different pro firms. So after using a Lionheart funding program, I'm still going to be able to show you guys how you can be able to spot out good prop firms. So now, with the advent of many pro firms coming to the space, it gives you the advantage to be able to make choices on which pro firm to use. And then another good opportunity which is coming to the pro firm space, where according to this noise, this volatility, another big opportunity is just with the advent of many pro firms, many of them are introducing many assets, and that tends to increase the volatility and the liquidity in the market. With more volatility, we have more opportunities. So can you see, with more volatility, we have more opportunities to trade. So that's another good thing that is coming to the pro firm space. Then another good thing, which I can't finish a video without mentioning, is just expansion in technology. All right, expansion in technology. I remember back then when we got into pro firms, with Apparel Fund, which I started with in 2015, the platform we used to use was called Avio. For most of you guys who have ever, maybe you've done research on pro firms, the back-end tech or the back-end software we used to use was called Avio. They were not even using MetaTrader 5, all right? So with Avio, you've got to do everything. Your trading, your analysis was a very nice platform. I'm going to see if I can put a screenshot of that platform on the screen. It was only after I started using other pro firms and working with other pro firms on the back end that I started seeing MT5, or we started incorporating and using MT5. You see, so with the advent of many pro firms and with the regulations, with MetaQuote banning licenses here and there, many different trading platforms are going to be coming to the game. And talking about many different platforms, you can already hear of DXTrade. So DXTrade is a very popular platform which is trying to come as a substitute or as an alternative to MetaTrader 5. So you see, so without the noise, without the tumor, without the panicking here and there, DXTrade wouldn't have gotten a chance. DXTrade wouldn't have come to the industry for us to have a different alternatives where we can trade. Because now we can trade with MT5 and we can trade with DXTrade. So can you see? So that's why I put it under another good thing which is coming to the industry, because with all this noise, with all this panicking, with all this tumor, remember, opportunities are always on the back end of fear. All right, opportunities are always on the back end. So when all these things are happening, I'll always advise you to be able to look for the opportunity in every situation. Good. So those are just the good points that I can be able to point out. Let's go to the bad points. With all this tumor, with all this panicking, with all this noise, pro firms getting banned here and there, what are some of the bad points which you need to be able to better position yourself? One thing is market saturation. All these pro firms are just popping up here and there, and if you're not careful, you are going to just get overwhelmed, and you are going to also suffer from the lack of knowing how to choose a good prop firm. All right, saturation, the prop firm space is going to be too saturated, and you're not going to be able to know which prop firm to trade with. So with all these prop firms, if you are not careful, you are just going to be overwhelmed and you won't know which prop firm to trade with. So market saturation is a very bad thing, which is also coming, but trust me, just learn how to be able to spot the good prop firms out there, like Lionheart funding program, or prop firms that will be able to have some of their traders trading on their live funds as Lionheart funding program, and you're good to go. And then another very bad thing which I've also noticed, which is coming to the space, is risk management failure. Trust me, most of these prop firms will start doing sketchy things and start trying to scam traders when they don't have good risk analysts on the back end that can be able to analyze the performance of their traders and be able to sort good traders that can trade on their live funds. Or maybe some of them don't even have live funds. Maybe some of them don't even have A books. Maybe some of them, or maybe most of them just have simulated B books. What do I mean by simulated B books? Simulated B books in the sense that even when you go live and they say you are trading on a live account, you are still just trading on a simulated account. You are still just trading on a demo account. Let me tell you guys the real meaning of a prop firm, a proprietary company. A proprietary company stands is very popular, or the main idea behind a proprietary company is to train you to trade their funds. That's the main reason, to train you to trade their funds, not to train you to trade on a demo account or a simulated account. Although the industry is trying to change the narrative, but the main idea behind proprietary trading is to train you to trade on their live funds. That's the same thing I did in 2015 when I started trading with Apparel Fund. They traded me for 14 months. And when I started trading, I was trading on their live funds, $200,000 live funds. Back then it was 50-50. When you make profit, you keep 50%, the prop firm keeps 50%. So you see the difference now. The difference now with 2024, or with the advent of these prop firms popping here and there with all these kids who don't even know how prop firms are being run, who don't even know how prop firms operate, is that even lack a team of good risk analysts. You can't even be a risk analyst if you don't even know how to trade, or if you're not a profitable trader yourself. So they even lack a team of good risk analysts that can analyze every trader to see that, oh, this one is just a gambler. This one is a consistent trader. Since this one is a consistent trader, or a consistently profitable trader, let's put him on our A books. And if this person is on our A books with our live funds, if he is trading with 1 lot size, we can copy his trade and we trade with 5 lot size. Meaning if this trader is making $10,000, we'll be making $50,000. That was why when I was leaving Apparel Fund in 2016 or 2017, it was one of the hardest thing they could swallow, because they didn't want me to go. I was a profitable trader. If I was making $10,000 with them, they were making $100,000. They were copying my trade. You see, so that's what is happening with the industry now. Most of these prop firms don't even understand how the whole algorithm of a prop firm is supposed to run so that it can be sustainable. Remember, this is a model which is sustainable. So long as you have this model in place, if I see many traders coming and they are winning, as a prop firm that is having this model in place, we've already analyzed and know that this one is a consistently profitable trader, we are going to be happy. We're not going to start looking for 101 reasons to not pay you. We're not going to start telling you that you are using EA, you are doing with all these bullshit reasons for not to pay you. So the most important thing, or the bad thing which is now in the prop firm space, is most of these prop firm owners don't even know how to run a prop firm, don't even know the real algorithm behind the prop firm, don't even know the main reason why they need to be able to come into prop firm to look for a system that can be sustainable. Sustainability is the only thing that can keep a prop firm running. If your prop firm is just out there looking for challenge fees, looking for money from people buying challenges and fame, that prop firm is not going to be sustainable. You can make revenue in a short term, but that prop firm is not going to be sustainable. But if you have a model that has a good risk management in place, you can analyze traders, you can send some of these traders in your live book. Trust me, this prop firm is going to be there in 10 years, 20 years to come, because it's a win-win situation. All the traders are happy, the prop firm is happy. So that's what I'm saying. With the advent of all these prop firms, there's a risk management failure, which is a very bad thing for prop firms. Then another thing which is also happening in the industry now is just technology failure. Technology failure was just the exact thing that happened to FPFX. What FPFX did to True Forex Fund. funded engineer. All right. So funded engineer, what happened to them was just technology failure. Their back-end technology failed them, and they were out of the game. So you're going to experience this with many Profim, because some of these Profim are not just Profim. They are not even Profim. They're just white labels. They just go and buy this white label solution, and they don't even know if the prof tech behind their operation even know what they are doing. So you're going to see most of these Profim also going out of the game. And then another bad thing which I've also seen in the industry, which you're going to see over and over, is ethics and transparency. All right, ethics and transparency. Most of these Profim, when you go on Twitter, you go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, you see them, they post a payout, weekly payouts of $200,000, $500,000, bro. They didn't even make payouts of $50,000. All of that is just to lure you to believe the Profim is actually paying people. And then when you come and buy your challenge and you pass, they look for reasons not to pay you. So that's what I'm saying. With the advent of all these hundreds of Profim, transparency is something which is depreciating. There's no more transparency in the industry. What people post is not what is actually happening in their Profim. So that's why Lionheart Funding Program stands for transparency. We're going to be very transparent. Our traders are going to have the opportunity to be able to have a sneak peek of what happens on the back end, to see how much payout we're going to be able to do, to see how many traders are even trading on our live funds, or to see how many traders are actually passing challenges and getting payouts. So ethics and transparency is something which is lacking in the Forex Profim space in 2024, and you need to also know how to better position yourself. And to be able to round off with this point, one point that has to impact you directly is psychological impact on traders. Let me explain what I mean by psychological impact on traders. Most of these Profims are just out there for the business model. They don't care whether they don't care wheresoever you're bringing that money. So long as you come and buy the challenge and fee, they are okay. So they are just there for the business model, for the revenue, for your fee, challenge fee. Feeling to understand that if they are able to have a sustainable measure or a sustainability measure, they'll be able to stay in the game for long, and they'll be able to create a long-term relationship. As they are doing all of this, and most of these Profirms are just out there for your fee, challenge fees, it tends to have a negative impact on traders' psychology. Let me just say, you go to Profim number 1, you buy a Profim account, they manipulate your trades on the back end, you lost the account. It already starts affecting your psychology. Most people will just give up at that point in time. They won't even go ahead. Some people will try ahead. Some people will try to give a push. They go to Profim number 2. They buy a Profim account. The trading conditions were good. They pass phase 1, pass phase 2. When they go to live funding, as soon as they get their funded account and they request for a payout, the Profim will take maybe forever to say that they're analyzing on the back end, and after they'll come and say, we see that you are using different IPs, we see that you are using an EA, you are using high frequency trading, HFT, just bullshit reasons for not to pay you, because no one is going to do them anything. At the end of the day, they didn't pay you again. Those are already two scenarios. Trust me, no matter where, no matter even if you have millions of dollars just stuck somewhere and you're buying Profim challenges, at that point in time, you're going to give up. At that point in time, that is going to negatively affect your psychology, and that is where you see many traders will be able to give up. So with all this noise going up, with all these Profims popping up here and there, scams popping here and there, it is having a very negative impact on different traders or on many traders. So how can you avoid this? By following the tips I gave you on the video to be able to sort the good Profim and only trade with good, reputable Profim. There are many Profims popping out there, and they are just good ones that have all the good Profims that actually have your interest at mind. That's why when it comes to Lionheart Funding Program, we have all of these boxes ticked, because this is a Profim formed by a pro trader for traders' interest. Remember, our key point here, or the key thing we take from everything we do, we always know this is a Profim for traders' interest. So we regulated, we have our licenses, we have a tech both in MQ or other platforms that you can trade, even if MetaTrader 5 is not there tomorrow. We know all these points, and we've already prepared for the worst. Meaning, if this happens, we already have alternatives. We're going to still be up and running So with all these conditions we've been able to put in place, trust me, we have your interest at heart. Lionheart funding program is having your interest at heart, and we're still going to be there 10 years to come, 20 years to come, and we're still going to be making money and growing together. So make sure you watch out for most of these negative points I've given you guys on this video, so that you should be on the lookout for all these scammers. Check the link on the video description to be able to sign up for Lionheart funding program. Also check out our Discord link on the video description so that you can join our community. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.